What up, though?
Welcome to Woman Crush Every Day, where we discuss queer media, especially when it's black and especially when it's woman. I'm your host, Allison, aka Al Woo.
And I'm your host, Tang B, aka Sean B. Scribe.
And on today, we're going to be talking about the L Word Generation Q, Season 3, Episode 5. Yes. But before we do that,
subscribe! Make sure you hit that button so you can keep up with the things as we drop them. If you want to know what we're talking about, when we're talking about it, hit the button, subscribe.
Notifications,
yes. Also, it's the holiday season. It's time to get some gifts. And the best gift that I think you can get this season is a stay for your friends at the Bud and Breakfast, Copper House, Detroit. You can use our promo code to get 10% off your stay.
Ew.
So use WCE. Find out all the details in the description. And Copper House is dope. It's a Bud and Breakfast owned by 2 queer black women. So you'll be supporting the community, supporting your friends, and, supporting your own mental health.
It feels like perfect for the holiday season. It feels like all the things that need to be celebrated and uplifted the most around this time. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into Season 3, Episode 5. What was your favorite scene, Tang B?
My favorite scene was learning that Maribel is a eugenicist.
That was your favorite scene? I was not expecting you to say that whatsoever, so I'm a little shocked, but tell us more.
No. That wasn't my favorite scene. I do want to come back to that scene, though, because a lot happened. My favorite scene, okay, it's a twofer. It's between Finley pulling the fire alarm at the bar, but really it's like before the alarm got pulled, like Finley seeing Dre, back up, Sophie ending sexy time with Finley because Dre is singing that melody right to interrupt what they got going on in this little quickie that they trying to get down.
Mm-hmm.
Finley coming out to figure out like who was Dre, and then seeing Sophie like look at Dre longingly and realizing like that's it. Like the whole thing was so dramatic. And
okay, so that whole thing you're saying you're thinking like that whole
that
set
whole,
up into okay. All right.
Yes, that was good. And then it was tied with Sophie and Danny's time at the end of the episode where they're like chilling in the backyard, like kind of talking.
Okay.
Reviewing the night, and Sophie reveals to Danny that the weekend with Dre was amazing. Mm-hmm. And like the peace that Sophie had while talking about this made me feel like Dre ain't gone. Dre's gonna be back around.
Okay.
I think we're gonna get a little bit more.
Okay.
Dre.
Okay.
All right. So what was your favorite?
I'll take that. I'll have to say the scene with Finley and Sophie, the flashbacks. Mm-hmm. Yeah. While Dre is singing "Dancing with a Stranger" by Sam Smith, I think that was one of the favorite scenes. I'm trying to pull up. Okay. Yeah. Definitely love that one. And I have to shout out the last scene of this episode with Alice and Shane, where Tess and Shane, that's a wrap.
Yeah,
that's a wrap. I'm okay with that, but that's another conversation.
I never really was excited about that.
Yeah, truth be told. But after that wraps up, Shane goes over to Alice's house, and Alice asks, hey, you want to be the little spoon? And Shane was like, nobody's ever asked me that. And it was like, yes, I do, actually. And those two scenes, I think, those are my favorite scenes.
That was really sweet. And I know, like, many masculine stud women have, like, talked about people not putting them in a position to be vulnerable and cared for and cuddled and held and all of that. And,
absolutely.
Every human wants that.
That's true. It feels good.
It feels really good to be held and loved and all of that. So yeah, that was a beautiful scene. That was really touching. And I love Alice and Shane's friendship.
Yeah,
it's really beautiful. It's
really
tight.
That is something that honestly I would totally be here if that turned into something more serious. I would be here for that.
Have you seen how Alice acted at the movies today?
Maybe they still balance each other out. Okay, look, it don't matter how I feel right now. We can move on to question number 2.
Yes.
Who was your woman crush?
I think Danny is my woman crush this week.
Okay.
I just feel like Danny turning down Dre at the end, even though it's very clear, like, there's chemistry, she was feeling it, but I think for her to say, like, I'm not going to act out of thirst, I'm going to act out of, like, friendship and loyalty, and I can see this is a complicated situation. I don't want to put myself back in it. I don't even want to like repeat what's already happened in my life like for the past couple of years. So maybe I just say no, and I'm not gonna like deepen the pool of like double dips for the lesbian group and just let this one go. And not even that I didn't want Danny to hook up with Dre. I think, you know, Danny deserves to have some fun.
Yeah,
I want Danny to have like I want Danny to have fun. But I was really proud of her for just not putting herself in a situation that could lead to more turmoil.
Word.
She got to have ice cream and popcorn with somebody she trusts and loves.
That's fair.
And that she's forgiven.
No, that's real.
That was dope.
That's real. I will give you that. I was not thinking about Danny this episode. You know, I've been pressed for Dre this whole time.
Well,
as soon as the episode, the text came up, what up, Dre, in the text message, I've been like, who is Dre?
Same.
So that was definitely meeting Dre was this episode that makes her my woman crush.
Them.
I mean, them. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my gosh. That definitely makes them my woman crush. Or I don't know.
Just your crush.
My crush.
You're a woman crushing on them.
My crush this week is Dre. So I think while Dre is not all of the things that I anticipated, hoped for, I think Dre is definitely not representing Akron's toughest neighborhoods.
No.
Which was definitely what I was looking for.
But Dre is a baddie.
Is that like, okay. Yes. Dre is definitely a baddie and all that good stuff. And that's all I got. I'm glad I got to meet Dre this week, even if Dre isn't all of the stud that I anticipated. I do feel like for this show, Dre is all the stud we're going to get.
That's as close as we'll come.
I feel a certain way about
There's
that.
There's like a meter, and they like stop at STEM. Like they can't go beyond STEM. It's like
it's like, ugh. Then dudes won't watch it. Dudes won't watch the show if we got a real stud. Whatever. Don't get me upset.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, what can stay? What can go?
What can stay? Dre,
yeah,
boom.
yeah.
I want to see more Dre. I feel like, you know, the L Word. Honestly, the L Word surprised me with keeping Ivy's character as long as they did. I thought we were definitely going to do a one and done. So I'm trying to keep the same optimism with Dre to be like, you know,
Danny did
happen.
pass the card. Was like, if you need a publicist.
Yeah. I mean, but it kind of also reads, I feel like Dre kind of broke. Like, is Dre paying for these services or is Dre what? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Anyway, but you know what? I wrote down what I feel like apparently can always stay is Finley's job. Like, no matter what Finley does, they will find a reason to keep her on staff.
Yeah, they'll say like, oh, that was the right thing to do, Finley. No, it was not.
Finley fuck up every bag. Like, Finley, you know, honestly, Finley should be a verb for like, I Finley'd. You know what I mean? Like, that's how much Finley just be fucking up. But I guess Finley can always stay.
Yeah.
In our hearts and minds.
Finley has Tess's loyalty. Because, like, wait. Finley never told Tess about the Shane situation.
No.
I mean, their whole loyalty is just based off, like, AA, sponsorship, all of that.
Totally.
Yeah, Finley is a miracle worker at keeping a job.
It's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much if you ask me. What about, I didn't go to my can goes, but what can stay for you? And then we can go into those.
Okay. I definitely agree that Dre can stay. Because I just feel like we're Generation Q now. So I'm just accepting the fact that this is not going to be about the lesbians. The L doesn't stand for that anymore. And, you know, it's okay. We still have some lesbian characters. But really, it's just like, all right, we learning about Angie having sex and all of that. So bring on a non-binary character. We don't have a non-binary character, so come on, bring Dre back, circle them in, mix it up.
Word.
We may as well.
Yeah.
What else can stay is Shane finally having the conversation with Tess about Tess really checking out of their romantic relationship to give more attention to her mother, which I don't necessarily fault Tess for, but I feel like Shane needed to say something before she fucked Ivy, but eventually you come around to saying things you probably should have said before. So more of Shane, taking ownership. I think that was dope. And I think, some of the things that Tess said were dope. Some of them were a little over the top. I think a little like prescriptive, and trying to diagnose Shane in a way that's just like, wait, you don't even know like
right.
everything that's going on. You don't know the whole story. All of that just feels like a lot. But I think Tess saying like, no, you didn't have to cope in that way, and you could have come to me before. All of that can stay. I really like the growth moments. We don't take some responsibility.
That's real.
Yeah.
That's real. Okay.
What can go for you?
Maribel's eugenics.
Yeah.
That can go. Didn't need that. Taylor can go. Yeah. I'm totally done with Taylor. I thought that I wanted more of Taylor earlier in the episode. I mean, in the season, I thought that there was going to be, like, oh, okay, well, where does this go? Whoa, whoa, whoa. No, I'm good on that. I'm really good on that. Yeah. Taylor, get out of my life.
Did you disagree with how Taylor did things? Was it not okay for her to be on this date?
No, it wasn't okay for Taylor to be on this date, especially because of the lie. Because of the lie,
because
and
she said I'm going to work.
The assumptions, and the gaslighting, to be like, oh, I thought you was cheating, like, why didn't you seek clarity on what was happening in the relationship? Like, to say like, I'm doing this because you were doing this, and I have no evidence of you doing that. I'm just assume that you're doing that. I kind of feel like, yeah, but Alice was trying to hang out with you. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing if Alice was constantly on the go, never trying to see you, blah, 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 so, yeah, that's on my can go list. Hey, what up, Toya G?
Hey.
I think in terms of what else can go, Shane did some weird sort of back and forth, too, that I wasn't the biggest fan of this episode. Like, at the beginning of their being locked out on the balcony, Shane says, while I was fucking Ivy, quote unquote, I wanted you.
Like, that's
then,
not cool.
45 minutes later in L word time, Shane says, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, you just said that you wanted Tess, but you not happy in this. And so it's like, I'm not buying it. I don't understand what's going on. You really are on your back and forth shit. Yeah. I don't think that Tess and Shane were the best relationship or the best partners, but I do feel like Shane being wishy-washy like that's not cool, and it feels really super manipulative. I think the last thing that I do want to acknowledge about what I feel like can go is I just feel like we're losing a lot of L word. And you kind of talked about this a little bit, but it's just like, is this the L word? Like, what are we watching?
We're watching Gen Q.
Yeah.
We're watching really everybody.
And I almost wish that the joint was just called Gen Q. Like, because I don't know that I feel like this is the L word. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they are slowly trying to, they've pretty much at this point cycled out Bet and Tina. We'll see if they like make some appearances, but I feel like that might be more of a cameo thing here and there. I feel like Angie's storyline is going very hetero, and
I could have gone off, but I chose not to. I chose to not go there.
I'm going to. Because number one, what can go is the storyline that Bet and Tina, especially Mama T, who's bisexual, did not have a conversation with Angie about how to have sex with the opposite sex. I just feel like that is flabbergasting to me that didn't happen because they seem to be so much on their toes of like sexual awareness for their daughters. So that's weird that Angie is learning about how to have sex with a boy from her roommate right before she's about to put her finger up her pussy to pull out.
I thought that was going to go
condom.
somewhere totally different, and it did not. That was crazy.
It did not. It was sort of funny scene, but it was also just like I don't care about Angie having sex with her. I'm not going to call him a pedophile because they're probably within like 5 years of each other. But with her professor, who knows? You shouldn't be dating your freshman student. Like that's not cool. I don't want to get a sex education about Angie. I feel like that could be on like Generation. That can be on
another show,
any other teen drama show.
Yeah.
But the L word.
Yeah, it just feels like I can't believe we're really going to take up this much space to talk about Angie fucking her dude teacher.
Yeah.
Stop that. Ew. And pulling a condom out of her straight friend's pussy. I thought for sure this was going to be some segues. I mean, maybe I'm nasty, but I thought like we're going to get there. You know what I mean?
I thought her roommate was like hooding her. Like Bella had a crush on Angie and is like, now, and maybe she still does. Maybe this is like the long game. She's like, week 1, I'll get her to pull a condom out of me. Week 2, I'll get her to put a condom in me. Like, I don't know.
Oh, gosh. That's hilarious. I don't know what was going on. But, yeah, I'm like, is this leading in this direction? Where are we headed with this? But to get here?
Yeah.
The writing is all over the place. Like, what story do you really want us to follow? What are we following? What's happening? It just don't feel like lesbians no more.
Yeah.
And... I want to go deeper into the stories. I feel like if there were fewer things to be like, here, and like, let's dig into the life of this lesbian and all of the other people in this lesbian's life, but we don't have that opportunity, and that kind of like makes me sad.
It does. What also, like, I would love to know more about why Alice doesn't know how to date.
Real, yeah.
Because I think... Okay, Taylor shouldn't have lied. Taylor should have been upfront about, like, I'm dating other people. But for Alice to assume that dating means that we are 100% exclusive, like, what is the difference between dating and a relationship? Like, what do you think is happening here, Alice? Like, and it's not even like y'all been dating for, like, a few months.
Right.
You met Taylor on the set of your show for a dating show that you put together to promote you, and then had her stay at your house for a few days to the point where she can't even like pull the contacts out of her eyes because she let her eyes all dry and scale up. And then you're like planning what y'all gonna do for Halloween together. And I get it, like, trust me, I get it.
Yeah,
you want to go full in. Your falling is new, is fun, and you want to be around her 24/7. But to not understand, like, she does come from a different life than you, and I think Alice does have blinders on. And I wish we could spend more time figuring out like why. Where does that come from? And I know they'll touch on it throughout the season, but. Yeah, we don't have an opportunity to really go deep with anybody.
Yeah.
So that can go. Let me see. Did I have anything else that can go? Yeah, no more Angie and Hendrix. Done with that. Sophie having these flashbacks during her time with Finley.
That was great, honestly.
That was great TV. I just feel like, man. What else can go is, and I hope that they bring Dre back along. So this isn't like a can go yet, but it's like, I'm watching y'all. Because they have these black love interests who are just so transient. Like, they're there for a minute. They turn into these very short-term relationships or overnight things. And I love seeing black characters. I hate when black characters are, like, just people to move somebody else's storyline. Yes. And so I hope that they bring Dre back and that Dre is more than just somebody's fucking for a few episodes and then out. Yeah, keep a character, please, because I'm still mad about Pippa.
Preach.
Still mad about Pippa.
Preach.
So I'm gonna just trust y'all. I'm trusting y'all to
I don't know why,
do
but
the right thing.
no.
Yeah, I shouldn't be. I shouldn't be.
I don't know why you trusting them, but
Well, let's go on to queer canon. What are they bringing to the table?
I want to go. I think a lot of the things that I feel queer canon for me, I think about what I was saying before around what is the L word in this context. To me, it doesn't feel like lesbian anymore, and I know that it's the L word Generation Q. I'm all with that. Wah, wah, wah. But I just feel like there's so many ways to, like, tell lesbian stories and the stories of ways that people who aren't lesbians kind of intersect with those lesbian characters. And it feels like all of the lesbian bars are shutting down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like watching the L word become the story that it's becoming, or so it feels like I'm watching another lesbian club get shut down because lesbianism isn't really okay. It's not really accepted.
Yeah.
You know, all of this is about money and how do we keep our male viewers and da 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 da. It feels like it's not about just really telling lesbian story. And I said story because I mean versus stories, because I think the fragmented storytelling like option feels like chill out. I would rather just like, who is the person, or like two people that we're really going into their lives and seeing why this is happening in the way that it's happening. I just need that. And it was funny, you know, the line when what's her face, when Dre threw Danny off the street, you know, hit the car or whatever to save her from this dude on a lime scooter, which is never that fast. Okay, like the line that Dre says about, like, you know, because this is real life, it's not a shitty rom-com, and I'm like, bruh, no,
it is.
No, this is not real life. This is a shitty rom-com. And I don't want to, like, I'm not saying it's to slam shitty rom-coms, but just, I'm like, you want to talk about queer canon? The L word is a shitty rom-com. Like, abso-fucking-lutely, it's a shitty rom-com. And there are too many, like, little silly petty things that I feel like are happening, and it's kind of stressing me out. Lightweight. And I don't mean that. Yeah, I guess. I think we need shitty rom-coms. I think we need moments where we can just sit back and it's not too critical. You know what I mean? And just laugh and take it in.
Yeah.
But I also feel like that is what it is. That is what it is. We have these, like, her pushing her, oh, let me save you from a scooter that's going like 0.2 miles per hour. Like, you don't need to save Danny from a scooter that's going that slow. Bet you don't need to run like
into the car to Tina.
Like, it was like, what? Why is this happening? You know, so I just feel like it is a shitty rom-com, and that's where I am with it. And we can, you know, people can take away from that whatever they want to take away.
Yeah, because I don't think that necessarily has to be a bad thing. I think, it's going to do,
you feel me?
You know, things that are unrealistic for real life. We've always known, like, the L word represents, like, a very minuscule portion of the lesbian population already. So it's already kind of in this fantasy realm. I think it is a lot of fun at times. It's less fun when we now have to share the shitty rom-com space with everybody else. Yeah. And I think, it does. I love your analogy of it feels like a lesbian bar shutting down, and not like we don't have space, but now it's just like, okay, well, we have like Monday night.
Yeah. When we had a space, I was like, no, this was our space. Yeah. And that doesn't mean that, it's just like.
So, you know, we'll see. We'll see where things go. I'm trying to just accept this is Gen Q. It's not going to be just about the women loving women relationships. Which brings me to another part of the queer canon, which is Maribel and Micah trying to have this baby. And I think it's funny because we were watching Glee season 1 episode 1, and on there Rachel makes this joke about her dad's using like eugenicist methods to like pick her and create her, and she has 2 gay dads. And I just think, you know, it was interesting to dive into people who create families you know, who have a lot of choice in the family that they're making, which is not an exclusively queer thing. I feel like that's anybody who's using like IVF treatment or any of these other ways of like assisted fertilization, all of that. But to have them talk about, when you get down into choosing the qualities of the baby you want to have, and when you complicate that with like wanting your own identity to be represented, I think it's an interesting conversation. I think that what it brings up for me is the ways in which, as queer people, we have to accept realities of we are not creating children in the same way that heterosexual people create children, and therefore it's just going to be different, and not to hate what hetero people are doing, because it's not always easy in that realm too. There's plenty of people who can't get pregnant, who can't produce quality sperm to like make babies and everything, but I think to give that a specifically queer lens, and just hearing like Micah and Maribel's frustrations about the process, and then not feeling like they can create a baby that really represents them, how it made me think about, you know, my own desires and everything, and also accepting the reality that everything is not going to be the way that I want. And that's like kind of the magic of making life is, you know, heterosexual people get together and think that they're creating this particular kind of baby, but y'all don't know what grandma and great grandpa and great 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 is bringing to the table this time around. You don't know what baby you're going to get. And I think that's just part of the reality of creation, is that you can put all the intent in there that you want, but you don't know what you're going to get. And so while you're trying to craft perfection, you could just be building up this mountain of expectations that won't be met. And I'm really interested to just see how this conversation continues, because it just really struck me as just like, why is there this anger of like, we can't make the baby we want? Nobody can. And so
I think my parents made the baby they wanted when they made me.
Absolutely.
I think they made a perfect baby. No, I'm just talking shit. No, real shit. Honestly, no, that was excellent. And I think that was just a lot, but also so like spot on for Woman Crush to go into that. And that, good shit.
Well, we're going to see what they bring us next week, y'all.
A musical.
A musical. I'm not excited for the musical, y'all. Honestly, y'all already aren't giving us enough stories. So the fact that we're going to have to, like, listen to people now sing it out. Like, and I love theater. I watch musicals. We just went and saw some musicals.
Right.
Totally fine.
I love
with
plays.
that.
I love musicals.
Yes.
However,
I don't need this. I don't need it.
Yeah, I feel very much like this is not the musical we wanted. It wasn't the musical we were asking for.
We didn't ask for it.
So, I don't know what's happening, but
it was probably the other queers asking for it. You know, like, people always want a musical, but it's like, why can't we just have a good show that's not a musical?
They saw The Prom,
and they were
musical,
like,
and they're like, you know what? We need a lesbian musical.
We need a lesbian.
These motherfuckers took it from us.
Well, this is still not even a lesbian musical. This is a queer musical with a sprinkling of lesbians.
Right. This is a queer musical. You're right. So,
but you know, I like some of these characters, so we'll see what happens next time.
Yeah.
And for the ones I don't like, we'll see if they make it to next season.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
All right. Well, until next time, y'all. Peace.